Cate says his family never talked politics when he was growing up.
My parents are very apolitical. We didn't talk politics. We didn't talk about elections or anything like that. Just besides reading the paper and kind of what was happening locally, we didn't have those types of discussions.
He grew up in San Diego and his parents divorced when he was 6. His dad worked as a California Highway Patrol officer while his mom worked for the post office. He and his mom moved around a lot, and then he landed at the University of San Diego. That's where he says he became interested in politics.
When 9/11 happened, I was in school, and after that happened, I started asking a lot of questions. Why, what's going on, and so the policy side of things really piqued my interest, and that's when I declared my major, became a political science major.
Cate's career took off quickly. He interned for a government relations firm and worked for the San Diego County Taxpayers Association and then City Councilman Kevin Faulkner. At age 27, he became vice president of the Taxpayers Group and then 3 years later became interim president. Although Cate's younger than the other council members, he says his experience means he's taken seriously.
I've met with them all before during my time with the association, so I will kind of have a little bit of a step ahead in terms of having that relationship and them knowing what I was working on and what my passions have been and what I've worked on in the past.
In Cate's very first council meeting in December, he was part of a controversial vote that overthrew Democratic Council President Todd Gloria. Cate, a Republican, voted with the other 3 Republicans to make Democrat Sherry Lightner president instead. Gloria had moved the meeting specifically so Cate could participate in it.
I think there was a time for a change, for rotation. I think there's a natural evolution of how that position comes in about.
Cate says he met with most of the council members before taking office. The upcoming vote on choosing a president was mentioned during his meetings with council members Scott Sherman and Lightner.
I knew what I was under in terms of my position and coming into office and dealing with the Brown Act and whatnot, so I was fully aware of kind of those issues and making sure that I didn't violate anything of the Brown Act, and so we made sure that we didn't talk about that with anything that would get us or put us in a compromising position on that topic.
The Brown Act says officials can't talk about their votes unless they're in a public meeting, and it applies to elected officials who haven't taken office yet. The city council had to repeat its vote to elect Lightner president after questions were raised that they'd violated the act. Cate says he's more focused on serving the residents in his district than on politics. He goes frequently to the Mira Mesa Senior Center, which is near his home. One day last month, he stopped in during a watercolor painting class and said he might buy some of the art for his new council office. Cate has big goals for his district, including setting up the first council office page on the community website nextdoor.com and finding creative ways to engage residents in their community. He also wants to rebuild community policing programs that were cut during the budget crunch in 2006.
One of my big asks of the chief was to come back and let us know what those programs were prior to 2006, what was working, and something we can re-implement, and what it's going to cost to try to put those programs forward again.
Cate is planning to get married in January to his fiancée Maria, who works in corporate compliance at Scripps Health. He says balancing his council responsibilities with family time has been the biggest challenge so far.
There's a lot obviously to do, and everyone wants to do a lot of good things for the district and for the city, but there needs to find that balance. So it's how do you find that, and with your family. As well, I think finding kind of your groove on what you want to get accomplished in your 4 years.
Cate's only a few months into his job, so he's still working on that balance. Before speaking to KPBS, he'd done a KUSI interview at 6:15 a.m. Then he went on to film a city announcement about the Lunar New Year, and then spent the rest of the day in meetings, followed by a ceremony that night. Claire Tregasser, KPBS News.